Do you want to save 2%? This week on the Trucking Risk and Insurance podcast, we have Todd Haselhorst from Heale Labs, and he describes how trucking, logistics, shippers, receivers, all of you out there can add 2% to your bottom line. Let's get right into it.
Welcome to the Trucking Risk and Insurance podcast.
Hey, Todd, welcome to the Trucking Risk and Insurance podcast.
Todd.
Can you tell us a little bit about who you are? And I see you're a co-founder of
Healy.
Labs. Tell us about who you are and why you founded Heale Labs.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it, guys. So I've spent 15 years in logistics and started and sold two different tech platforms. And ultimately, we had the same problem every time, which is we had data all over the place in all these different systems. And we were just doing internal version control to try to make sure we had the most relevant, accurate, and real-time information. And so it was a huge headache for us to do that. And when you think about it, every company out there is basically doing the same thing. And so what we built at Healy is a network that connects all those systems together, standardizes the data so that you have a master record that everybody's working off of. And so all the systems have the same data instead of each one having to do all their own version control.
All right. When you say data, what type of data are you bringing into the system?
Any data from ERP, a TMS, or ELD or IoT device, we bring that into the system. We create a common format for it, and so we plug everybody into this universal data layer so that you're updating that master record in real time. Instead of all the systems, instead of you having to remember, for this shipment, I have to do this system, that for this shipment, I got to do that system. These people want this document over here. I got to email this to that person. You're just uploading it into your whatever system of record you use, which then updates that master record that everybody else that's involved in that shipment can get access to.
And when you say everybody, are you including your the shipper or the receiver?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Because damn, Todd, there's so much data coming from everywhere now. It's
yeah.
I'm a little guy. I'm a solo entrepreneur, and I feel like I'm buried in data. I can't imagine a logistics company. Well, damn.
So this is kind of basically taking this massive amount of data, bringing it to a aggregate center, I guess you could say, and then from there, those that have access to it can access what they need to know and nothing more.
Exactly. Yeah, for that specific ship.
Right.
And all the data.
I'm just going to say I'm moving a truckload of dog food here from Effingham, Illinois, and it's heading down to Dallas, Texas. And I'm the shipper. Driver's left here already. And then I'm thinking, oh, shoot. Did I put the right address on that bill of lading? Oh, no. Would I be able to access the system to go in to confirm that he is going to the correct address rather than having to call your dispatcher to get a hold of the driver in order to check the paperwork?
Yeah, exactly. And so when that data is updated, then it pushes to all the systems that are using that data, including your TMS or your whatever applications you use as a driver.
Sure. So if I was in a situation where all of a sudden the client's called me down in Dallas, Texas, and says, "Hey, we need that load of dog food. We need to ship it to our Oklahoma City site. Can you reroute the driver and do something to that effect and change the bill of lading or whatever?" That could be done without having to call a whole bunch of people. It could go right into the system, update everything, send the driver a notification through their communications device, whatever it be, to say, "Hey, driver, reroute. You're going to Oklahoma City now."
Yeah, exactly. And the bill of lading updates in real time because it's a digital bill of lading.
Right. So cool. So not only are we able to manage the data better, we can actually make changes quicker in real time, and just basically
Yep.
streamline this process.
Yeah, exactly. Well, our goal is to streamline the shipment coordination and also make exceptions easier to manage, because
Mm-hmm.
right now, as you said, it's a daisy chain of I'm going to call this guy, text that person, send this carrier pigeon out, do some
Mm-hmm.
smoke
Mm-hmm.
signals,
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
and, and then hope that the information was conveyed properly, right?
Right.
Well,
Exactly. Cool.
and that's the problem in the old way or the other way of doing business is so many people touch it that the
Mm-hmm.
information sometimes, a typo can be a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was
Yeah.
going to say you end up with that. You end up with that campfire story problem, right? You got 10 people around a campfire. One starts the story, passes it to the next one. By the time it comes all the way around, story's changed.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And when you validate the data before it goes in, let's say an address, for instance, when you go to Google Maps and you type in an address, Google Maps will say, "Did you mean this address?" So things like that help ensure that nobody's putting in the wrong information, or fat fingering an input or something somewhere along the way, which can
Sure.
have cascading effects and cause errors in shipments.
Sure.
And
Cool.
what information sources can you tie together like this?
Any transportation systems, any ERP, TMS, ELD, and IoT are the primary ones that we're focused on right now. But
Sorry,
we can
what's an ERP?
enterprise resource planning. That's what
Oh,
the shippers are using to manage their inventory, their supply chain, and do all their transportation management functions from a warehouse perspective.
okay. See, I'm a truck driver. And I haven't driven truck in 20 years. So some of these newer things, right over the top, Todd.
It's just all the systems involved, from raw goods all the way up to finished goods, and retail, and connecting those systems with the systems that are used to move those goods around, is really the components that we're plugging into.
So who would, without naming names, I mean, if you want to name names, you can, but who would be a customer of yours? Is it,
So the technology providers would be our initial customers, and then downstream from there, it would be the shippers, the freight brokers, the carriers, and the drivers who use those applications to do their business, and their daily operations.
so how would, I mean, how does somebody know about you? Is it the software provider that says, "Oh, you need these programs to talk, reach out to Healy"?
Yeah, exactly. And we're working with the technology providers to basically build this data layer that connects all of them together. Um, and at that point, you could be using the Healy network without even really realizing that you're using the Healy network. And to a certain degree, we want that to be the case, because we don't want yet another thing that you have to log into to do this or to do that. We want to streamline that and make it easier for people. There's a lot of apps out there, and people, I think, are getting apathy. And so if we can streamline that for the drivers, make it easier and simpler for them to manage their day to day, that's a win for us.
Well, everybody needs, or everybody would love to only use one app. If I'm a driver, for
Mm-hmm.
example, it's much easier for me to use likely my ELD provider. But what I'm hearing from you is you can take an ELD and enhance the data that it's capable of. Is that right?
Yeah, we can enrich that data, and then we also have built in a rewards program that will reward you while you're driving, for contributing that data or sharing that data. And so that's the other piece of what we've built is the reward system that incentivizes best practices during shipments, like using electronic documentation, paying your bills on time, not damaging goods, providing tracking data in transit, delivering on time, things that will, again, ultimately streamline that shipment life cycle, which is our overall goal.
And probably you didn't mention, but I'm assuming PODs are probably in that process.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does your system tie into accounting as well?
Yeah, it can plug into any accounting systems, whether it's Peachtree, QuickBooks, anything with an API we can plug into,
Well,
or they
then,
can plug into.
what API is an acronym? What does it mean?
It's just a way of transferring data between systems.
Okay.
It establishes parameters around how you're sharing information between two different systems.
Because being non-techie, I kind of know I know I can do. Sorry, it's a webhook that I'm using
Yeah.
to do an API, and like I that really sounds like I know what the hell I'm talking about, and I don't.
You're practically an engineer, Chris.
You're smarter than you think.
Damn, because my webhook ain't doing what it's supposed to do. So. But you were saying that you can.
So, question for you. Sorry, I'm a little froze up here once in a while. A question here. Heale Labs, who is it for? Is it, can it work for like a one truck operation, or is it looking like it's more for medium fleets and such along that line?
So we built the technology with everyone in mind to support owner operators all the way up to large enterprises. And so depending on who you are and how you want to function and how you want to operate, we built it so that it's flexible for anyone to use.
And
cool.
What is one of the benefits? If I use Heale Labs, am I going to be able to save money, streamline processes, make customers happy? What's the benefit?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the benefits are ultimately you're going to make more money and you'll have more margin per load because you're able to reduce errors, theft, fraud, and waste from your operations. You're able to have better exceptions management and be able to be more efficient in your back office and ultimately streamline the shipment process and the coordination process by collaborating with all the parties that are involved a lot more efficiently so that you can get paid faster, settle transactions, reduce invoice disputes, and things that, clog up your day-to-day operations.
And fraud is huge in today's world. How does Healy, you mentioned reducing fraud, how does that help?
Yeah, so when you have a system of record that is verifying everything that's happening at every step in the process, it prevents bad actors from exploiting or injecting into that process. So if you look at some of the fraudulent tactics that are used, like taking a broker's identity or taking a carrier's identity and fraudulently, right? When you're verifying, is this the right party that's supposed to be picking up this shipment? When you're providing, they're called cryptographic proofs. When you're providing those proofs every step of the way, that eliminates the ability for fraud to enter into the shipment.
So you're actually, if I'm the driver, you actually know who I am when I show up?
The network knows who you are, and all the parties that are involved, all the parties involved in that shipment know who you are. And so you're saying, hey, I'm Chris, I'm here to pick up your shipment. Here's my truck. This is my trailer. You're basically providing all those credentials when you interact with all the different parties that are involved in that shipment.
Right. So
Strengthen that security. Yes.
all the shipper has to do is match a few things like truck number and trailer number and the driver name and go, oh, okay, yeah, this is probably really the right guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, John and I both have backgrounds in insurance and trucking insurance, and
Mhm.
we've both seen, cargo theft is a huge thing. As you know,
It-
billions of dollars get stolen every
Yep.
year in cargo theft.
Yep.
So Healy's helping prevent that.
yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yep.
Are you
John?
getting much pushback from people? Like, because resistance to change, and yeah, I'm okay with what I got, and this works okay, and stuff along that line. Like, how do you overcome those battles, trying to get somebody to buy in and understand this is better for you?
Yeah, so any new technology follows the same technology adoption curve. And in the beginning, there's 2% of the market that is innovators and early adopters. And so we've just been focusing on identifying who they are and working and doing deals and doing business with them. And ultimately, making 1.9% more profit per load, I think, is very compelling for a lot of people. And so the more we do that, the more that speaks for itself, and the more people will hear about it and say, I want to make more money. I think that's the reason we're all, in business, right?
Well,
Sure, exactly.
and I mean, right now, people should be knocking on your door because I understand margins
Yeah.
in trucking at the moment, to be polite, suck.
Yeah.
And
Is there
I'm
anything
trying
less
not
than
to use a swear word when I talk about margins. So you're saying by using the Healy software, you can increase profits by almost 2%. You said 1.9.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we've done some use cases and some analysis, and that's where we're at so far to date. So yeah, we're um, increasing profit per load is really the name of the game, and that's the main thing that we're solving for. All the other stuff is how we solve for that.
And I'll be truck driver-ish here, or I'll be self-serving. That 1.9% increase, 2%, let's call it because I'm easy. That's after they pay for Heale Labs, I would assume.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yep.
Yep.
Like, there just isn't enough profit in trucking at the moment. They should be anything that can increase your revenue, your profit center by 2% is huge in my mind.
Huge. Yeah.
Oh, big
Yep.
time, especially in today's day and age.
And
For
what we're
crying out loud,
talking-
we're trying to find every dollar we can.
Sorry, what was that, Todd?
Yeah, exactly. No, I was saying in a day and age where margins are so thin that I don't know if there's anything less than razor thin. But when margins are already razor thin, it's a very compelling offer to be able to make more money per load and per mile ultimately.
Yeah, it's
and get paid faster because cash flow is king, and
Sure.
you need the you need the cash to pay the bills. And anything you can do to make your settlement times faster so that you can get paid faster, those two functions are pivotal to a healthy business.
Yeah, if you can get paid faster and make more money while doing it, damn, that's two huge wins right there.
Yeah. Well, and we know a lot of the profit margins right now. If you're not running razor thin, you're on the negative side, and a lot of people are upside down right now in the industry. So this is already, if you're looking for ways to get that back to the positive, here's a step in the right.
And John didn't pay his squirrels again. So, hey, how does somebody Todd, how does somebody find out more about Heale Labs?
Yeah, so you can go to our site and you can sign up on the site, and we'll connect you with our partners on the technology side who can provide you with access to the network.
And I also saw that you have a white paper on your site if I wanted to find out more.
Yeah,
And
yeah, you can read the white paper. I'll warn you ahead of time. It's a little bit technologically dense. Um, um, but yeah, it's definitely a good read.
but basically, the idea though is to reach out to Heale Labs, get set up, and I guess you must be able to demonstrate it, can you not?
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah, exactly.
well, see, there, John went out and gave the squirrels some peanuts, and now he's back. So,
Usually the way.
oh, your audio's
Yeah,
terrible, John.
usually.
We got him. We got him fed up here, so hopefully it'll hold off another bit.
Okay. All right, Todd. Your contact info is in the show notes down below. All right, so I would encourage everybody who wants to find out more about Heale Labs and maybe adding 2% to the bottom line, or as Todd would say, I'm saying 2%. Todd would say 1.9 because he's a much more precise guy than me. But I'll call 1.9 2% because I'll bet you sometimes
Yep.
it goes up to 2.1 or 2.2, and other times it might be 1.7, but 1.9 is damn close to 2%. If you want to learn how to increase profits by 2%, get a hold of Heale Labs. Todd, last word. Did we cover everything that you wanted to get covered in this interview?
Yeah, no, absolutely, and thank you guys for having me. It was an absolute pleasure to chat with you guys here today.
Thanks, Todd. That was awesome. Appreciate your time and appreciate all of you for listening and watching the Trucking Risk and Insurance Podcast. We'll see you next week.